Hello everybody. So today I want to talk a little bit about the state of MSTR, and this video is entitled The Saylor Interview, the latest interview on CNBC this morning, kind of trending over the internet. Is MSTR about to buy the newly mined Bitcoin going forward? All of the mined Bitcoin going forward, will MSTR buy it? And the first question when I saw this interview, of course, which is trending all over X, is why does he smile so much? You see this interview, he keeps smiling, keeps being happy, makes you wonder. He shares zero with the bears. I think this interview shows that Saylor, again, is very confident in his strategy. And I don't think he has an ounce of doubt in the strategy, which is why he's bet his entire career, reputation, company, wealth, you name it. He's bet it all on on Bitcoin, right? And so you still have people accusing him of running a Ponzi. Well, let me be very clear. In my view, Michael Saylor is nothing like a Bernie Madoff. This has nothing to do with a Ponzi, of course. As an MSTR bull, you understand that I would say that. He starts with an interview with an outstanding confidence when he casually says, we'll buy all of the newly issued Bitcoin going forward. We'll buy all of the newly issued Bitcoin going forward. Kind of, strong opening to the interview. Rest of the interview talking about stretch, things we already know on this channel. And of course, as usual with CNBC, the interviewer doing zero effort, zero research on the guest, asking if the prefs are convertible. It's a conversational style interview. That's okay. He ended the interview with the price target, and his stated price target is 21 million Bitcoin, $20 million per Bitcoin, within 21 years, And of course, that's from his latest Bitcoin model, the Bitcoin 2024 model, where he laid that out, and then he released another version of it. But that's roughly his vision. And, I think this is roughly right, of course. Bitcoin, perhaps, most pundits would say Bitcoin $1 million before 2035, if you follow the space. Many say 2032, 2033. We'll see how that goes. To me, it all depends on the macro. And Saylor said that in the interview. It all depends on the macro. He thinks we've bottomed at $60,000 a year, but we go up from here, provided that the macro gets resolved, that the macro gets better. Unfortunately, Bitcoin has been kind of in a rut. We're doing well, cozily sitting above 80,000, and at the beginning of the week, again, we had the Middle East tension kind of annoying us, owners of Bitcoin. But if you follow the people who are interested in macro, i.e. not me, I'm not interested in the macro topic, especially the Middle East macro. I'm more of an interest. I have better interest in interest rates. I like talking about interest rates, but the Middle East absolutely doesn't interest me. But if you follow the people who look at the conflict in the Middle East, it seems like there could be an agreement being brokered, perhaps by Pakistan, and perhaps a reopening of the strait, which is really the only thing that sort of matters from a standpoint of the financial market, or an immediate standpoint of the financial market. It seems like there would be some agreement on that. These could obviously be rumors, so we don't know much, but oil is dropping as a result of that. So perhaps Saylor, has a team focusing on the macro, and perhaps he's smiling because of that as well. I don't really think so, but perhaps. The point is, I want to continue talking about Bitcoin here. Fear and greed at 41. It's still good. Neutral is still good. Neutral is what I want. Perhaps a little bit on the lower end. Let's be careful to not get back into the fear. One element that has not been discussed a lot, at least that I didn't see discussed as much, is the fact that not only, of course, does Tesla own a bunch of Bitcoin, but SpaceX, the hottest IPO of the decade, holds 18,712 Bitcoin. So the hottest IPO of the decade owns nearly 19,000 Bitcoin. That would put that company in the top 5 of Bitcoin holders right away. And I think that's actually very bullish for the space. Very, very, very impressive. And as you know, I've said that on the video, I think it's Saylor who orange-pilled Elon Musk. He's done a few comments in some interview where he cheekily says that he's not going to say. But I'm pretty sure, and as as Saylor has said before, from rocket engineer to rocket engineer, right? Because Saylor actually studied aerospace engineering as well. So to me, Saylor orange-pilled Elon Musk. But of course, it doesn't look like it because Elon Musk did the whole, we don't accept Bitcoin for Teslas anymore back in 2021. And unfortunately, Elon Musk is perhaps not liked as much in the Bitcoin community. But to me, this is a big deal that SpaceX own this much Bitcoin. The question is, will a portion of the cash at the IPO, right? If they raise 50 billion at the IPO, will a portion of that 50 billion will be parked into Bitcoin until it is spent? Maybe. I would hope something like that happens. That could be very bullish for Bitcoin, actually. And let's finish with a price action. MSTR outperforming Bitcoin today. MSTR has had very disappointing price action throughout the week. We've lost the 180s. But in my view, we should still be ATMing right now. 1.23. That's selling $100 for $123. We sell a $100 bill for $123. To me, that's a big deal. And then I'll conclude this video talking about the stretch. So stretch price action starting very, very strong in the morning. And as we got some good news related to the Middle East throughout the day, it's as though people were selling stretch to perhaps get exposure to some risk assets. So to me, when I look at this price action, I explain it with people holding stretch perhaps as a proxy for a money market account. But this morning certainly looked ahead of schedule at 99.48. Sure sounded quite ahead of schedule. I hope we end the day near 99.50. And if we do that, next week could be the date where we actually get to ATM again on stretch. To me, the fact that we traded this morning at 99.48 is a pretty big deal when it comes to the potential of us ATMing again, as soon as possible. So this is a big deal. Anyways, kind of many different topics today in this MSTR video, but hopefully we recover quick. Hopefully. This was not investment advice. This is not financial advice. This is only entertainment. I'm hoping you were entertained. Please like, please subscribe, follow me on Patreon, follow me on X. Thank you for watching and have a wonderful, wonderful day.